Hi guys from Pax Europiana. This time is the Munich Security Forum. I'm not going, don't worry, Mr. Ischinger. I'm just sending you this message, yeah? And that shouldn't be the Munich of our time. And what I mean with that? In 38, obviously, there was this archetypical kind of Munich appeasement conference where Chamberlain and Daladier, the French and the British Prime Minister, conceded Hitler the partition or the land grab of Sudetenland. Yeah? And then later in March 39 was the rest of the Czechoslovak Republic, before was Austria, and then ultimately led to the start of the Second World War with the attack on Poland, when then the line was toughened and there was no kind of and of course it was not only that, it was of course Stalin who was waiting for the big repetition of the First World War, where the capitalist powers will kill themselves in order for him to win, and he won half of Europe. And now his ideological heirs, Putin, he wants to take at least parts of Ukraine back. Some in the left, some in the right think that's a really good idea. I absolutely oppose it. I think it's a terrible idea. Not even the Russians, if they had a free choice, would like to live under such a terror regime like Mr. Putin's terror regime. So what we need to avoid? We need to avoid the following, that Putin takes another piece of Ukraine. What we cannot avoid, that he incorporates what he has already. He has just put his troops, massive troops, 50,000 or 35,000 is estimated, into Belarus. Yeah? So basically Belarus is in every form, or it's now military occupied of Russia. They might not say it like this, but more or less the Austrian-style Anschluss of Belarus is just a question of political regulation. Yeah? It's already happening. And that is unavoidable. I think that this will happen very soon. It will be another big shock and we have to react on it. But I just warn the international community with my videos and with my text, yeah, that I think that this is going to be happen. The big aerial attack and World War II style war in Kiev, the attack on Kiev, I don't think will happen. What I think will happen is exactly this: the Anschluss of Belarus and the annexation as well of the already occupied Donbass. And that is two things which I think the West will, not, similar like with Crimea, never accept it. Legally it will be never accepted, neither Crimea, neither the annexation crisis is to come, but technically as well not. But in a way we have accepted it, we have put some sanctions, but it was, there's very little we can do, similar like the division of Eastern Germany, or even when the Eastern Germany have rebelled in 1953, or then the Hungarians, there was no possibility against the nuclear power to really take them or take what they have already. That's not possible, yeah? And it will not happen. So we have to really avoid another part of Ukraine. And now there's a lot of analysis on CNN, and I agree, disagree with some of it, but what I see, what I think, and that's why I went as well last week, just 5 days ago, in Mariupol. I think that Putin wants to take Mariupol. If he really wants to have the whole land corridor, it's quite a lot of piece of land, and it's very hard for him to defend, and it's possible his troops move as well. He could land troops in Berdyansk. He could also then move out of Crimea in a parallel pincer movement against Mariupol. That's all possible, but even just Mariupol alone, and that's very easy to take for him. Why? Because it's so close to the front. It's a lot of civilians. It is very hard to defend. Cities are in generally hard to defend. And by itself, it's already a very, very important strategic asset, with the harbor, with the big steelworks, with the population center, with the whole kind of strategic control of the Azov Sea. So that alone is a big poke in our eye. That's of course an important asset. That's a 500,000 people city, and he could take it very easily. And he would put the whole order upside down again. And that's why I made also this kind of letter to Mrs. von der Leyen, to also come to Mariupol and to really defend Mariupol ideologically with the presence, with tweets, and to do something for Mariupol, because that can be very easily fall in his hands. He had all the troops ready for that one. And he can then say, yeah, it's just, logical, one city, and we control the Azov Sea anyhow, and the people there speak Russian, and blah, blah, blah. All these arguments he used also in Crimea. And he doesn't need the land bridge fully. Alone, this one important asset is enough for him to satisfy him, showing that the world is biased against him while he is attacking, and that he is just taking what is his. Yeah? And he is basically repeating the whole Hitlerian kind of ideology of taking his people back into the Reich, yeah? Into his Reich at that case. Yeah? And that's the danger, that we then appease to that one. And that shouldn't be happening. So, well, I think we have to basically accept the division of Europe for the moment, for the next 20 years. The reaction on the annexation crisis, when it comes, and I think it will come, should be the clear integration of free Ukraine in the European Union. I guess there will be not enough courage for the model of Western German integration, which would be the most logical one. And I think if he attacks again Mariupol, then there will be more courage in America as well. Then even without Mariupol, even without Crimea and Donbass and the whole situation, that then the moment is where America has the courage to repeat West integration of Western Germany in Ukraine. Yeah? But I'm not sure about that one. What I think we have, the logical conclusion is the Cypriot model. This is very possible. We have then the occupied Donbass annexed. That's a tragedy. Belarus annexed, a tragedy. You know, that's also Crimea annexed, a tragedy. But, you know, they are then theoretically at least part of Ukraine. And we have already shown exactly what we can do. And this is in Cyprus as well. That's the integration in the European Union and the Euro for Ukraine. And that's what I call. Then we can see the unification topics can be postponed on the timeline, the NATO membership can be postponed on the timeline, but at least the people of Ukraine live much better. And they live enormously much better in EU conditions. Yeah? And that can be rather speeded up, like it was in Cyprus. It was 2004, so basically 15 years after the end of the Cold War we had the big enlargement round. Let's put 15 years after the Euromaidan, we are in 2029. That's what I'm calling for. And technically, legally, preparatory, that's all a lot of work, but it's absolutely doable. I know very well that's also part of my task. And legally preparatory, that's all basically agreed because the DCFTA is more or less the same. Let's now add the euro, let's add the European perspective, let's have more money into Ukraine and from the IPA funds, and then let's get going. In 5 years, Ukraine is ready as Croatia was or Greece was. Of course it's complicated, it's expensive and it's a headache for some in Brussels, but it's absolutely doable. And we have settled the situation here very positively, and Europe has made a constructive contribution to world peace, to European peace again. And that's it, what we are about, and that's what we should do. And that's what I argue in my text at Ukraine Journal. Again, thanks a lot for Ukraine Journal to allow me to publish, and I'm very grateful. And get Ukraine in the European Union. That's my hope and my proposal for peace. And Putin, stay out of Ukraine. Bye. Thanks a lot. More to come from Pax Europiana. Bye.